Well, we're going to Israel right now, and Joy Frenkiel, who grew up in Chomedey and made Aliyah many years ago, was with me, and she's playing a very important role in the war right now. In fact, where are you right now, Joy, as we speak?
As we speak right now, I'm on the way back from an army base in the south, basically where all the atrocities took place last week. We're just coming back from being with the soldiers who are about to go out on the front line.
So, Joy, give us your background. I know we knew each other way back when you worked at Hillel, you worked for Jewish Family Services and other parts of the Jewish community. You made Aliyah to Israel when, and what are you doing there?
Okay, so as you know, I was trained as a social worker in Montreal, and I made Aliyah in 1996. I wanted to be the first Ola of 1996, and I was. And I've been in Israel since then, practicing as a social worker and also teaching English here.
Okay, so fast forward to this horrible atrocity. You were one of the first people to reach out to me and wanted to share what you're going through and all the Montrealers that are stepping up, ex-Montrealers, and contributing to the situation. You've been you've seen some pretty tough times in the last week. You said you've been, first of all, tell us you've been volunteering at the morgue. What has that been like?
Okay, so what it is, it's called Shula, and I'm sure that a lot of people have heard about it. It's the compound where all of the bodies were brought. It was like a makeshift morgue where all of the bodies were brought to be identified so that they can have an halachic funeral, a proper burial. So those first days at that compound, we were seeing all of the bodies of the victims being brought, being identified, which was a very long process. And of course, you can just imagine the sounds and the sights and the smells and everything that we saw. And my role there was to accompany the families in identifying their loved ones who were murdered.
That's got to be, I can't even imagine what that's like. Have you I mean, what do you tell these people? How do you try to console them?
Well, a lot of the people, first of all, there were hundreds of people. Now it's already thousands of people. But with the day that I was there, the first day, there were hundreds of people that weren't sure where their loved ones were. And there was
Yeah.
you had to go to an airport city first where they did DNA matching. And when people came to the compound where I was stationed, they already had an identification. So they knew that there was a match between the DNA and their loved ones. And what do you say to these people? There's, you just, we just tried to honor them, and we just tried to notify them in the most honorable and respectful way possible. And I think that everybody that was at that compound, and we were hundreds of people, it was the army, it was every part of Israel was working together, but it was the social workers and the police together who were bringing in the families to identify their loved ones. We really just tried to do it in the most honorable and professional way for them to get to identify their loved ones before they were brought for burial. And don't forget, there's still hundreds of victims who have not been identified, who have not been notified that their loved ones are killed.
You now right now you're doing an initiative where you're buying combat soldiers protein bars to give them energy on the front lines. How did that all come about?
Okay, so I just wanted to tell you another part of the social work that I'm doing.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so the first part was being at the compound where the victims were identified. The second part of my work is when notifying next of kin. That I work with very, very professionally in my municipality of Ramat Gan, and any victim that was killed and resides in Ramat Gan, we are the ones that notify next of kin. So we go in with 2 army representatives, 2 social workers, and at times we have ambulances waiting outside. And again, this is a highly skilled and professional work to be with the families at the most critical and life-changing time that they experience ever.
I can only imagine. So on to what you're doing now. You're trying to help. You're visiting. Tell us about this initiative.
Okay, so I've had a number of initiatives actually.
Yeah.
It's funny because I just had a birthday, and before all of this happened, my Hebrew birthday was on Simchat Torah, the day that it happened. But before for this birthday, I said I don't want to do anything. I just want to do many, many acts of kindness. And
Right.
then this all came about, and I felt that all of us have something to contribute, and all of us have something to do. I had seen a movie, a video clip of a soldier saying what equipment and what they need. And one of the things that he said was that they desperately need protein bars that can fit into their bags when they're on the front line, so that if they need a meal, if they're hungry, they have something to eat. And that would be like a good meal replacement. And then I said, oh, wow, that's something that I can do. And so that day, along with my sons, I asked them to help me. And we started an initiative. And within one day, we got donations from many good people. And we were able to order and bring and deliver over 400 protein bars to the combat soldiers who are now on front lines. Another thing that I've done is that my international friends who also wanted to donate, also Christians, church-going people from the States, and a lot of my friends in Canada really didn't know what to do. So I asked them to please donate generously to Zaka, which is search and rescue. And this is the organization also that makes sure that victims are found and all of their body parts are collected. It's the most sacred of work that's done. And so a lot of people have donated to Zaka to make sure that the burial will be done properly, and the people in search and rescue will have the proper equipment they need. They need helmets and they need vests. They went through the equipment that usually lasts them for years and days. So that was also another initiative that I helped with.
So you said you have sons. Do you have any family members who are in the army right now, are on the front lines?
So my son just came back from the reserves, and my other son, who's a combat soldier, is waiting to be called up. And when my son came home, first one from reserves, I was so happy and grateful to see him. I can't even explain how emotional it is. And today when we were with all of the soldiers, it was the first time that I allowed myself to break down and cry, to see all these soldiers and just praying that, God willing, they all come back safely and healthily to their family.
What's it like day to day now in Israel? Has life stopped? Are people still going to work? Are they able to go to a shopping center? Are they able to, has life gone on, or is it stopped?
Okay, so life has basically stopped. I mean, now it's coming a little bit back to normal, but a lot of people are working remotely. Because I'm a frontline social worker, I've been at the office every day, and we've also been notifying the next of kin. I'm on call right now, actually. So all of the social workers have been working around the clock, very, very vigilantly. And malls are closed. Slowly, some are opening up, but the economy has certainly taken a hit. People are home. Children have not been in school. It's very, very difficult for parents that have young children that they haven't been able to work, or they're working remotely. The kids are at home. It's been very difficult. The streets are practically empty. No traffic jams right now because people are not on the streets at all.
What would you like to ask your former Montrealers, former Chomedeyans who are watching this video right now? What message would you like? What help can they give you?
Okay, I think that everybody in Chomedey, in Montreal, and in Canada has the obligation to stand by Israel at this time and to explain in the media what's really going on. And if anyone can donate money or funds or their time, anything that anybody can do is very, very appreciated. Prayer groups, writing cards to soldiers, to families. There was recently a Canadian girl that was killed at the rave party. Her name was Tiferet, and she was just murdered. And her father had asked for Canadians to write condolence letters. So anyone on my Facebook who's part of who can see that, even letters of condolence, letters of support. Everybody has something that they can do. I don't think that anyone is helpless or useless. I think that everybody has something that they can do. If there's a charity that you believe in, please give generously. Everybody needs help in Israel. There's not one family in Israel that has not been affected, either directly or knowing somebody that was killed. I just want to tell you a quick anecdote that yesterday when I came home from work, I saw my son was very sad in his room. And the first thing, this is such an Israeli thing, I said, were any of your friends killed? Who was killed? Because that's the amount, those are the amount of notices that we're getting right now, that people were at the party, soldiers were killed, family members were killed. And that's the reality of living in Israel right now.
Well, my hat's off to you for all the good work you're doing, and I really appreciate you reaching out to me. I wish we would have been reunited under happier circumstances, but I'm happy that the Suburban can at least share your message, and we're hearing from a lot of ex-Montrealers, many of whom are actually current Montrealers who are heading there to help as well. So best of luck, fingers crossed, and let's pray there's a peaceful resolution to this and that we get those terrorists out of our hair.
Please, God, let everybody be safe. Am Yisrael Chai.
Joy Frenkiel has been my guest, talking to me live from Israel. Thank you, Joy.